St. John's, Barkley and Thornton, along with Grant, Postell, and Ron Artest. The head coach for the Indiana Hoosiers, Bob Knight, 28th year, college basketball's winningest active coach. He's 4-0 at Indiana against St. John's. And Mike Jarvis, his first year at St. John's, spent 8 years at George Washington. So the Hoosiers come into this game 23-10, and they're coming off a 108-88 win over George Washington in the first round, a game in which, Dan, they shot 65% from the field. St. John's, a 69-43 winner over Samford in the first round.
I think one of the big keys for St. John's is going to be the ability to put pressure on the basketball. They cannot allow Indiana to run their offense as efficiently as they did against GW.
And we're underway from Orlando. Inside, Gladness on the baseline, and the Hoosiers turn it over. Bootsy Thornton quickly into the front court. Baseline jump shot is short, and Recker with the rebound. So Recker into the front court, guarded by Thornton.
And that's another very interesting guard matchup.
Give and go, nice play, A.J. Guyton. Guyton with 11 points against George Washington.
What a great job by Guyton, just running Barkley all over the court, and then finally got open for the layup. Man-to-man for Indiana.
LeVar Postell.
Boy, he had a good game.
Artest for three. And the rebound goes to William Gladness.
Boy, that was a nice job by Haston to hold Grant in place so he couldn't run that rebound down.
Haston. And Artest with the rebound. Grant on the block. He's the leader of this team. Artest straightaway three.
Gus, he waited. He had the wide open three, hesitated a little bit, waited till the defense came.
Postell inside, and he draws the foul. Now let's join the third member of our team, Barry Booker.
Larry Richardson is suffering from back spasms. Those spasms began in Chicago at the Big Ten tournament. He was only able to play 4 minutes after starting on Thursday against George Washington. Today he's wearing a back brace, and he's receiving electrical stim treatment while he's laying on the floor here in front of the Indiana bench. They weren't able to give him muscle relaxers or painkillers because they thought that would affect his performance, but he is on anti-inflammatories. We'll see how effective he can be today, Gus.
All right, Barry, very painful injury for Larry Richardson.
Gus, and Larry Richardson cannot be very effective in that particular position. He's got to be out there on the court where LeVar Postell is, and Gus, he's still doing that walk toward the basket free throw that's so effective.
And the second free throw is good. 10th start for Postell. And Mike Jarvis told us that when this tournament began, Postell was his 6th man, but he wants to get him as many plays as possible. That's why he's in the starting lineup.
St. John's did a great job cutting off the inside game of Sanford. They've got to do the same thing here this afternoon, and they're not successful right there. Nice play by Gladness.
William Gladness, a senior from Arkansas. And Indiana up 4-2. Opening moments of the first half of play. Postell popping out. Inside, Artest leans in and banks it strong off the glass.
Artest. Better find Ron Artest, Gus. He is big and he is strong, and when he comes through the lane, you're not going to take the ball from him. You've got to try to bounce him off his spot.
Haston, backdoor Record knocked away. Barkley with the hand on it. Indiana controls.
St. John's bench looking for the walking call.
A.J. Guyton, and that's one thing he does extremely well. Shoot the three ball.
Indiana's all-time leader in three-point baskets.
17:34 to go in the first half of play. IU up 7-4.
Gus, we talked about the guard matchup, and thus far you'd have to say advantage Guyton. He is doing the things that Guyton has to get done for Indiana. He's got to score, and he's got 5 already.
Averages 17 points per game on the year. Grant across the lane, inside, and he lays it in.
And there's the St. John's quickness and power on the inside, Gus. Haston just not fast enough to cut Grant off.
Haston, only a freshman, at 27 points against George Washington.
Indiana doing a great job setting that double screen down there for Guyton.
Guyton stripped away by Barkley in a reach-in foul. Mike Jarvis not happy with that call.
Gus, I think for Barkley, he has got to move his feet and stay in front of Guyton. That time, Guyton again got head and shoulders past. And when you reach across somebody's body to try to get the ball, whether you foul or not, it looks like a foul to the official, and he's going to call it.
So Recker inbounding on the baseline. Guyton quickly to the basket, lost it out of bounds. Last touch, though, by the Red Storm.
And that was a good play by Artest because Guyton was alone, and Artest reached in from behind.
Inside again, Haston all alone. And somebody got caught napping on defense for St. John's.
Well, it was Artest. He turned his head, and Haston went right to the basket. You don't want to give up an easy one like that in a game such as this.
Hoosiers up 9-6. 16:37 to go, first half of play from Orlando. The winner advances into the Sweet 16. Postell feeding the post. Grant, great wheel, but it's swatted by Washington.
Grant took a little too long that time. Gus gave the defense a chance to collapse.
Hesitation, Guyton on the baseline, kicks it out, Recker for three. Count it.
Gus, an early problem for St. John's. A.J. Guyton is dominating his matchup with Barkley. He is just blowing by him off the dribble. Barkley really needs to move those feet and prevent that penetration.
Barkley only a freshman, Guyton a junior. And Indiana against GW in the first round, a blistering 65% from the field, but Postell answers with a three of his own.
And now you can understand why Mike Jarvis wanted to have Postell in for as many plays as possible. In big games such as this, Postell just gives them so much.
Recker, and a reach-in foul from behind against Bootsy Thornton. One thing you know about Indiana, they will not beat themselves. 15:36 to go, first half of play. IU up 12-9.
Welcome back to Orlando, where Indiana leads St. John's by 3 points. Now, you notice Kirk Haston, the Indiana big scorer, is wearing a pad on his left hand. It's his non-shooting hand, and the pad doesn't weigh very much because it's made mostly of bubble wrap. He broke the hand 2 weeks ago in a game against Iowa when an Iowa player slapped down at the basketball. But the thing is, there's no foul called on that play. We'll see how he does, guys.
All right, Barry. Indiana.
You know, Gus, the hardest thing about that bubble wrap would be to avoid trying to pop it.
And Luke Recker knocks down the three. Indiana 6 for 7 from the field. We told you they shot 65% against George Washington in the first round, and that's carrying over. They lead at 15-9. Bootsy Thornton in the corner.
Well, Indiana's certainly popping it early.
They swing it. Artest for three. In and out, Postell, rebound, and he's fouled going up.
Gus, one of the biggest problems for Indiana today, for any team that faces St. John's, is you have to own your defensive board. St. John's does a great job passing the ball, moving the defense, and then they attack the offensive boards. And in a game like this, Indiana has to track down those rebounds because St. John's can kill them on the offensive board.
Indiana gave up 26 offensive rebounds against George Washington in the first round, and that is a huge concern for them in this game. And Postell, 14 points in the first game, 10 of 12 from the free throw line, making his 9th start.
You got those 9 rebounds, and you combine that with all the free throws, and what that means, Gus, is he is attacking the basket, and he's certainly done that today.
15-11. Under 15 to go, first half. Half-court pressure now by St. John's. Recker and Guyton in the backcourt, bringing it up the floor.
Gus, this is a good maneuver. You got to change the tempo of this game a little bit. Indiana just too comfortable on the offensive end.
Skip pass stolen away by Tyrone Grant.
That was great pressure on the ball. Haston had his dribble, Gus, but act like he forgot it.
Thornton kicks it out. Artest. Postell. Barkley wide open. Got it.
Indiana's defense really trying to shut off the inside, and Artest looks a little hesitant on that three-point shot, Gus.
Once again, the diamond press. Cross-court pass right out of bounds. And the press causing Indiana some early problems already.
Bob Knight obviously not pleased that press has been out here twice and 2 Indiana turnovers in 2 possessions. And boy, if you're Mike Jarvis and you make that adjustment, that makes you feel pretty good.
Indiana sloppy with the ball in their first game. 20 turnovers. Barkley around the corner, dumps it off. Grant missed the bunny, got it back, reloads, and he missed it again, but draws the foul.
Gus, the penetration by Barkley creates the first opportunity, but there's St. John's on the offensive boards again. When somebody penetrates to the basket, as Barkley does, it draws the defense, and that leaves Grant alone. I'll tell you what, when you get a big guy like Grant down underneath, and he's got position for the rebound, you're not going to move him out of there.
Washington with his second foul. And Tyrone Grant at the line, and he misses the first free throw. 63% free throw shooter on the season, and the young man from Brooklyn missed 8 games this year with a broken wrist. He got a cut on the top of that right hand and suffered an infection, and he misses a pair.
Now a little problem for Indiana. Washington with those 2 personal fouls. Keep in mind that Richardson is still laying on his stomach over next to the Indiana bench. He may not be able to go.
Guyton.
St. John's in his zone now, Gus.
Cross-court pass, knocked away again. 3 straight turnovers for the Hoosiers. Artest.
Gus, it doesn't matter how well you're shooting the ball if you can't shoot it.
And that one partially blocked inside.
There's Grant again.
Grant with all the tricks.
First of all, he got in there, Gus, and then he dribbled the ball out with Record chasing him.
St. John's with a chance to go ahead, and a whistle. And an official's timeout.
I think we have a shot clock problem.
Yesterday, rather in the first round, the horn here did not work, and they had to actually bring a air horn in. I think they fixed that problem. Now they're having some problems with the shot clock. It goes from 27 to 13. In the meantime, for complete tournament coverage with live scores, stats, and more, check out Tournament Live only at cbs.sportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline.
Gus, the shot clock reset on the air ball by St. John's, and you're not supposed to reset the shot clock unless the ball hits the rim.
Artest. Got it.
Gus, did you see Artest's reaction after he hit that shot? He really pumped the fist. He was very, very bad with his first couple shots. Not even close, but that one knocks it right down.
St. John's on an 8-0 run. Recker for 3. Rebounded inside by Artest. St. John's pushing it. Bounce pass. Great look. Barkley to Thornton, and he is hammered. But what a nice pass by the freshman.
Ron Artest has really struggled with his three-point shooting. Again, he's left wide open. The ball goes in, and there you go. And now this is a fast break that's not necessarily classic. Emmanuel knocks Washington to the ground, and that frees Bootsy Thornton in the middle. Recker with the foul.
So Thornton at the line, but this kid, Barkley, a freshman from Brooklyn, New York, spent 1 year at prep school at Maine Central Institute, but he's really playing beyond his years here at St. John's. Understands the court extremely well. And Bootsy Thornton, 13 points, 5 rebounds.
We talked about these fellows from St. John's being able to step up and play in big games, and probably that's just as true of Bootsy Thornton as it is of anyone, although he misses both of those free throws.
12 minutes, 35 seconds remaining in the first half. St. John's up 17-15. Washington pull up, 13-footer, too strong, and it's rebounded by Donald Emmanuel, fresh off the bench.
Indiana stays in the man-to-man, and St. John's has had much better luck in that press and then dropping back into the zone, Gus, than they had with their man-to-man to start the game. St. John's basically a man-to-man team.
Postell wide open, and he rattles it down. St. John's up 20-15, 11-0 run for the Johnnies. And they get back into that press.
And Postell very active at the point of that press, Gus.
Recker.
And what this press has done is take the ball out of the hands of A.J. Guyton.
Gladness knocked away.
Boy, good quick hands.
Inside, off the glass, no good, and Barkley comes up with it again. St. John's on the move. Artest wide open. And Haston with the board.
Boy, Artest still isn't feeling that shot, Gus. So he had a grimace on his face coming up the court that time. That was a wide open look at the basket.
On the season, he shoots 38% from the three-point line. Johnny's back into the zone.
And boy, they're great quick hands.
Thornton all alone.
Oh, he almost missed that one,
slipped
Gus.
out of his hand.
Sort of in between whether to dunk it or lay it in, and the ball slipped out of his hands on the way up. This zone has really bothered Indiana. St. John's with the great quick hand.
A 13-0 run for St.
Oh,
John's.
what a screen!
And Guyton ends the run with the jump shot. A.J. Guyton with 7 points.
And you can see how upset Barkley is, Gus. He's telling his teammates you have to call the screens, but they're playing zone, and you don't normally have that calling the screens business in the zone, but he ran into Washington. It was like running into a telephone pole.
Artest across the lane, wraps it around, and a traveling violation on the baseline. Emmanuel, 10 minutes, 23 seconds to go in the first half of play. Got to be strong on the court. Creighton, Rodney Buford and company taking on Steve Francis and the high-flying Maryland Terrapins. And the summary, take a look.
Gus, this has been a game. Indiana came out shooting very well early, 6 of their first 7, but then St. John's switched defenses. Indiana started turning it over, and St. John's has really gotten their game in gear.
5 turnovers for Indiana, and this zone press has really bothered the Hoosiers.
A.J. Guyton was just dominating the game when St. John's was trying to play a man-to-man. They couldn't guard him, and this zone has really helped control him.
Gladness flashes across the lane. Inside, and Haston lays it up.
Haston does not look like he's a strong guy, Gus, but he's got more strength than you would suspect because he did a nice job holding his own inside against Grant.
22-19.
Grant battling inside, Gus. Looks like his drawers are coming down.
Inside, Barkley, and he's fouled going up.
Gus, strength isn't always the key thing when you're talking about rebounding position. It's a matter of moving and finding the spots on the floor, and Haston got the first tip, and that enabled him to get control of the basketball.
So Eric Barkley steps to the line, the freshman from Brooklyn, New York. In his first game as a starter for St. John's, he had 7 assists and no turnovers. And he has really been a spark plug for this St. John's squad. And unlike most players who like flashy players at the next level, this young man idolizes John Stockton. He loves his basic game.
And this guy, that's the key to this guy's game, Gus, a basic game. He doesn't need to make the flashy play, he makes the good play. And lots of times what you're looking for, the easiest play is the best play, and that's the one that Barkley likes to make.
That he started liking John Stockton while he was up at Maine Central Institute because Stockton came on television all the time. Turner, too strong. Haston with the offensive rebound.
Against this zone defense, you'd really like to find A.J. Guyton out on the perimeter. And of course, St. John's trying to lean the zone toward Guyton.
Record calling for the ball. Guyton fires. And Tyrone Grant goes up strong.
Oh, what a great outlet
pass. Gray. Inside all alone. Barkley off the glass. Missed it. And a whistle and foul down low.
Gus, once again, St. John's with an offensive rebound. Pretty good pressure by Recker at the end of that fast break to cause Barkley to miss the shot, but nobody blocking out. St. John's doing a great job running in transition the last few minutes, and it's awfully hard to block out when you're playing transition basketball.
So Reggie Jesse steps to the line, a sophomore from Long Island City, New York. First free throw, no good. Now tonight on CBS, martial arts superstar Sammo Hung and Arsenio Hall are kicking the fun back into Saturday night. On the LAPD's Dream Team in the action series Martial Law tonight on CBS.
Gus, St. Johnson struggled at the free throw line today, or they could have easily a double-digit lead. Here's that press again.
St. John's 7 of 12 from the free throw line. Jimenez in the game. Haston dumps it down, another turnover. Number 6.
Just the quickness of St. John's. Haston's got to shoot that ball.
And a travel up top by Bootsy Thornton. Second turnover for the Red Storm. 8:41 to go, first half of play. They lead it 25-19.
Gus, St. John's has had good success increasing the tempo of the game, but Mike Jarvis not happy with that last play because you don't want to play too fast.
Jimenez, Recker, Turner, Haston, and Glatness on the court. They reverse it. Recker with the jump shot, contested nicely by Postell. Chutney Gray brings it up the floor.
Boy, Grant asking for the ball inside, not getting it.
High pick and roll. And Jesse lost it, luckily, right into the hands of Gray, who lost an edge on the baseline, and the Red Storm turn it over. Lead pass, Turner all alone, and it's swatted out of bounds from behind by Postell. And he will receive the foul.
Postell really doing a nice job hustling back on defense. Indiana had very few fast break opportunities, but they finally get one and they convert it. Not real good execution by Indiana. Postell, you're rarely going to be able to get that play from the officials, Gus, coming from behind and swatting at it.
So Rob Turner, a senior from Wilmington, Delaware, at the free throw line. Plays about 14 minutes a game, and substitutions in for St. John's. Gray and Jesse Lee are test back into the game along with Barkley. Turner, a junior college transfer. Tyler, junior college in Texas, gets the second one to go. Indiana down 25-21. Postell popping out up top.
Not a lot of movement by St. John's right at the moment on the offensive end, Gus. A lot of standing around, and that's not the way to be productive against this Indiana defense.
11 to shoot. Grant in the low post. Quick turn on the baseline. Old school move by the guy that they say is old school at St. John's. Great move.
Gus, they had him surrounded, but they didn't finish it off. I don't know how he got that ball up on the board. There were three guys there.
And he knocks it away on the defensive end. But into the hands of Recker. Gladness pulling up on the baseline, and the line drive is good.
Gus, that's really a good move. Indiana overpassing a little bit against that zone. St. John's just with good, quick hands, making it very difficult to penetrate the zone with the pass.
7 minutes to go, first half of play. 27-23, St. John's on top of IU. Artest, guarded by Gladness. They swing it, Barkley. Nice look inside. Grant off the glass, count it, and the foul. There's the freshman making things happen.
Now Grant has really been a great operator inside. This is 2 baskets ago. Grant catches the ball. There's 2 guys on him. Recker finally comes. Nobody actually takes the ball from him. The last basket, credit this to Barkley. Barkley finds him, and then despite the pop, Grant has the strength to get it up. We've talked about St. John's strength. They really have been showing us that strength today.
And Grant adds the free throw. They say he's a throwback player. Bobby Knight knows it now. 6:44 to go, 30-23 Red Storm. To show you St. John's with 8 second chance points. They have 5 offensive rebounds.
Gus, we talked about that at the beginning of the game. If Indiana doesn't block out, it could be a long afternoon. The other thing that's interesting, A.J. Guyton scored 7 of the first 9 points of the game for Indiana, but since St. John's has gone to that zone, Guyton has not scored.
Here's the press by St. John's. Indiana walks it up the court with Mike Lewis and Recker.
And Guyton out of the game right now as Lewis replaces him in the lineup.
Rob Turner, Hastings, Gladness, Turner kicks it out. Lewis down the lane. Turner, triple team, stripped from behind by Artest. 7 Indiana turnovers.
That is just a...
On the baseline, Postell. Grant gets it to Postell, and he can't get the bank.
Gus, the St. John's zone has been very effective at limiting Indiana's ability to pass the ball inside. As the ball goes into Turner, he takes too long with it, Gus. You can't hang on that long in the zone. He allows the triple team to take the ball. Got to be quick. Short, quick passes against this zone.
Hasted, baseline pull-up, and rebounded by Grant.
Grant really doing a job on the boards, Gus.
He's got 4 rebounds already. Artest all alone thinks about it and comes up short.
And there we get a foul on Gladness inside, and who does he foul? Well, he fouls Grant in there for another offensive rebound. Grant is a guy who does a great job getting himself positioned inside, Gus, and once he gets it, he's just hard to move out. Gladness trying, knocks him down.
And what they say about Tyrone Grant, he is a throwback player, and he has all the tricks that those throwback guys used to have. Guys like you, he'll grab the jersey, step on the shoe, hip to hip, forearm in the back. He knows it all. And the first free throw is good.
Gus, the biggest part of his trick is a number, and it's 240, and that's how much he weighs. And when you're 6'7" and a strong 240, you can get yourself in a position where the trick works pretty well.
This is the second. Hasted with the board.
Threw a curveball up there that time.
31-23. 5:30 to go in the first half of play. And the offensive rebounds being won by St. John's. Indiana gave up 26 in their first round matchup against George Washington. Cross court, off the glass, stolen away by Thornton.
That's too tough a pass to make across the top of the zone, Gus, unless you got a guy flying at the basket.
Barkley crosses over the runner, and he got it.
Gus, he's playing with a little bit more confidence. I think Guyton knocked him back on his heels a little bit at the start of the game, but Barkley seems to have recovered now.
Right now, Indiana baffled by this zone press by St. John's. Lewis down the lane. It's stolen away with a foul in traffic.
Now, if Mike Jarvis could have continued down the court, he would have led his team on the fast break. He was so upset with that call, he started sprinting toward the basket. Lewis doing a nice job recognizing the opening. Thornton gets called for the foul, reaching in. Mike Jarvis not happy, but again, the St. John's defense doing a great job collapsing against guys penetrating.
Recker, pull-up jump shot, and he hits the 3.
And that's his third 3 of the game.
Recker with 9 points, 4:40 to go. Indiana, their three-point shooting, 1 of 3 in the first round. They're 4 of 8 already. We'll see Thornton quick release, and he knocked it down. And this kid can really score. Got 40 points against Duke this season.
And you don't want to let him get going, Gus, because you're right, he can put big numbers up there. Hadn't really since he jammed that left hand, that thumb on his left hand.
Indiana quick with the ball, but St. John's, they are really getting after him. Gladness on the low post. Jump hook. Got it.
And that's the kind of move you have to make on the low post, Gus. We showed you a replay a little bit earlier. Turner hanging on to the ball. You can't hang on to it. Make that quick dribble, make a move quickly, or pass the ball quickly, but that zone will take it from you if you hang on to it.
36-28. Red Storm, backdoor cut. Artest all by himself.
Boy, what a great screen on the inside, and Artest with a good hard cut.
And St. John's up by 10 again. Matches the largest lead of the game.
Gus, this pressure has really disrupted the Indiana offense.
Lewis rattles out. Gladness strong on the glass, and jump ball is the call. And then St. John's gets it back.
That was ruled one of those simultaneous possession held balls. You go to the arrow at St. John's. Gus, we can see the legendary coaches in college basketball. Bob Knight with 42 wins. Now, Denny Crum, with whom Bob Knight is tied, he has 42 wins, but he went out in the first round of this tournament on Thursday, losing to Creighton. Creighton, Maryland will be our next game here in Orlando.
Colin Charles in the game at point guard now for St. John's, along with Artest, Bootsy, Thornton, Grant, and Postell.
Postell started the game with 10 quick points, Gus. Really helped St. John's stay in it early.
Charles. Artest wide open again on the step out, and this time he drains it.
Gus, St. John's really is an unselfish team. They pass the ball so well. And Artest, he could have about 20 points now if he would be making all those open three-pointers. A good-looking stroke that time.
Cross court, A.J. Guyton. Nice ball fake, frees himself. Gladness rebound, and it's tapped out to Recker. Stripped away by Artest. You look at the quick hands of the young sophomore from New York. Lead pass, Thornton, touchdown, Grant. How about that?
Gus, that's the story of the game. The quick hands of St. John's and the tremendous passing ability of St. John's.
And they're also shooting the 3 ball. 6 of 12. Haston leans in and banks it home.
One of the few times that Indiana, Gus, has been able to beat that pressure to get an easy basket. St. John's really clicking on all cylinders here on the offensive end.
Charles guarded by Guyton. Recker reaches in and draws the tile.
Gus, we're talking about St. John's in their passing. We've seen him pass the ball in the full court, pass the ball in the half court. This is a really great look. And Thornton with the catch and finds his teammate. Now that's a shot that Thornton could have tried to take, but he saw Grant coming down the lane and made the nice touch pass.
And we talked about how unselfish this St. John's team is. Jimenez and the backside rebound to Postell.
Gus, and here's another advantage from St. John's. Just about every guy on their team can take the ball and bring it up the court in a transition situation, so they don't have to wait to get it to the guard.
1:20 to go here in the first half of play. The winner advancing to the Sweet 16. Postell stripped, and Recker with the steal.
Again, St. John's in that zone defense. They don't play very much zone, but they've played it very effectively today.
Gladness very effective inside so far, and Grant snatches it down and bangs the board in the process. Now coming up on Pennzoil at the half, Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg will get you updated on all the tournament action. Plus, we'll have a look at Maryland's Steve Francis. It's all coming up on Pennzoil at the half. And a recap of what has happened here in Orlando on the first day of action. Maryland all over Valpo as they win it 82-60. In game 2, Creighton's Rodney Buford with a big 3. A career high for him in that game, but a different story for the Hoosiers today because this St. John's team came in ready to play.
Boy, they sure did. And our tournament summary, we're talking about what happened here, but across the country, number 10 seeds are 4-0. Isn't that interesting? And Wisconsin playing Southwest Missouri State, scoring only 32 points. It's hard to imagine how you can score only 32 points in a 40-minute game with a 35-second shot clock, but it happened.
Southwest Missouri State, coached by Steve Alford, who played right here for Bob Knight at Indiana. Artest passes up on the 3. Charles, look at the ball movement, very quick. Artest wraps it around, wide open, Bootsy Thornton lays it in. The city game, you're seeing it today. St. John's up 45-30.
Still in that zone.
3 seconds to go. Guyton from downtown. And no good. Rebounded by Postell. Grant with 10 points, 6 rebounds in the first half. Artest with 10. Postell with 10, and the Red Storm head into the locker room up 45-30.
Gus, it's just a tremendous effort by St. John's, the key being that switch from the man-to-man to the zone.
Now let's go to Barry Booker.
Coach Jarvis, the zone D was great, and on offense, you moved the ball very well.
You're right on both counts. The zone was good. We had to go to it. They were scoring easy baskets, and luckily for us, they missed some jump shots. And the spacing has been great on offense, and the ball movement and the unselfishness of these guys has been great.
Thanks, Coach Jarvis. Back to you, guys.
All right, Barry, a complete first half for St. John.
Gus, the statistics at halftime, in the last 15 minutes of the half, it may have been the best 15 minutes of basketball that St. John's has played this year. They totally dominated, and it was that zone defense, I think, that was the key.
And also a big statistic, St. John's 6 of 12 from the three-point line. They also had 9 second chance points on 8 rebounds. Now let's go to Barry Booker.
At halftime, Coach Knight talked to his team about attacking St. John's, both their zone defense and on the backboards. Back to you, Gus.
All right, Barry, St. John's back into the zone, and the Hoosiers turn it over on their first possession. Artest stepping into the passing lane and coming up with the steal.
Gus, Indiana simply has not been able to penetrate that St. John's zone with the pass. St. John has done a great job getting down and getting those passes, particularly the bounce passes. 10 Indiana turnovers now.
So what do they need to do, Indiana?
I think a guy like Guyton, Recker, they have to take the ball and they've got to try to penetrate into the zone with the dribble, draw on the defense.
Bootsy Thornton for three. 48-30.
Gus, and St. John's now 7 of 13 from beyond the three-point arc. You know, they shoot it pretty well, but not at that kind of a percentage on the year.
Gladness inside. Nice play on the jump hook. Senior from West Memphis, Arkansas.
Gus, there he got past just the first line of the zone defense with the dribble. Nice spin move.
Barkley down the lane. Thornton. Grant. And Recker with the rebound.
Grant just couldn't hang on, Gus, but again, he gets his hands on the
always around
rebound.
the ball. Exactly, Tyrone Grant. Guyton. And Postell with the ball.
Gus, he scored 7 points in the first 3 minutes of the game, and he has not scored since. St. John's really doing a nice job getting to him and preventing him from having any effect at all on the game.
Biggest lead of the game for Red Storm has been 18 points. Thornton on the low post. Nice move.
That's going to be an awfully tough matchup for Recker down low. Thornton has those great long arms and the quick spin move.
Bootsy with 12. He's from Baltimore, Maryland. Inside Turner. Blocked by Artest. He's sitting in the lane just waiting for him.
Gus, is there anything that Artest cannot do? He rebounds the ball. He shoots the ball. He blocks shots. He's got a couple of steals already in this game.
On Artest with 10 points at halftime. Thornton off his knee. Recker got a hand on it. 16 on the shot clock for the Red Storm. Grant back out to Artest for three. Got it. Boy, these guys are playing some serious basketball this afternoon. Turner shuffled his feet and traveling. Look at the balance that this team has.
Gus, and this is just a tremendous effort. Artest, Thornton, Grant, Postell all in double figures. Postell had those 10 points early. They haven't missed him. And Eric Barkley, even though he's only got 7 points, he has orchestrated this whole show.
St. John's with their biggest lead of the game, 21 points. 17:21 to go in the second half of play. Barkley along with Artest, Postell, Grant, and Chutney Gray on the court for the Red Storm. Postell quickly down the lane, and the runner is good.
Gus, that's what you call attacking the basket. What a great job by Postell to anticipate the play and then convert.
Postell from Albany, Georgia. Mom is a security guard at a prison. Tough young man, does all the dirty work for this St. John's team, along with Tyrone Grant.
Bob Knight really upset about the defensive pressure being applied inside by St. John's. He thinks Haston is being fouled, and that's good news for Indiana. Basket by Guyton.
And it took Indiana a while to get back onto the floor after halftime.
They didn't come out, Gus, until there was about a minute left on the halftime clock. You heard Barry Booker talk about what Coach Knight told them. Barry didn't mention what decibel level it was at.
Barkley kicks out Artest for three. And it's tapped around. Tyrone Grant inside, and he draws the foul. Offensive rebounding. How does he get it all the time?
Gus, that time he was in position, but Indiana actually missed it. They had a couple of guys tip at it, and Grant, he just, once he gets his position, he doesn't give it up. Artest with the three-point shot. Now, Grant isn't anywhere near the play, except he goes right after the ball and takes advantage of the fact that Indiana's not able to grab it. I'll tell you what, when this guy's around and you have a chance to get a rebound, you better put both hands on him and pull it down, because if you do not, he is close enough in the vicinity that he is eventually going to get it.
8 rebounds for Tyrone Grant, the senior captain for this St. John's squad. Second one up, and it trickles off.
Gus, about the only thing that St. John's hasn't done at peak efficiency today is shoot free throws.
St. John's in the first half, 9 of 15 from the free throw line. They pack it into that zone once again. Guyton off the dribble, on the spin, it's short. Postell with 2 hands. Cross-court pass, Barkley. Ball fake, across the lane, off the glass.
That was a tough one. Barkley hadn't forced anything today, Gus. That was a bit of a force, however.
Dane Fife, a freshman from Michigan. And his shot won't go. Tyrone Grant with his 9th rebound.
Gus, Haston was alone under the basket, and Fife missed him. Fife had his head down, dribbling the ball, is worried about the St. John's pressure. Got a layup, but it was not as easy a basket as he could have gotten. And there's a tough way to earn a couple of.
And Ron Artest on the sidelines being stretched out right now. 13 points, 3 rebounds for the sophomore. And Barkley is at the line. And this St. John squad, Danny, they have great talent, very athletic, but almost to a man, a very high basketball IQ. They know how to play this game.
Gus, and they're so unselfish doing it. They're really entertaining to watch when you have an unselfish team that passes the ball well and just seems to play with such great enthusiasm. It's really entertaining for spectators. You can understand why the folks around St. John's are so excited about this team. We were able to talk with Lou Carnesecca on Thursday night, and he talked about the fact that the excitement is back, and you can really see it in the play right here. Although Artest over there being stretched out has to be a concern for Lou Carnesecca and everybody else in the crowd.
Lou Carnesecca, 24 seasons at St. John's. Boy, did he have some great teams. Chris Mullen and Mark Jackson and company. 15-20 to go in the second half. $15-20 to go in the second half, 57-34. A couple of heroes there for St. John's. Yesterday's heroes, Wally Serbiak. He's from Long Island, New York. 43 points for Miami of Ohio. Hanno Metala from Utah, 22-7. And Eduardo Nahara from Oklahoma, 17 points, 13 rebounds as they knocked off Arizona, the Oklahoma Sooners.
And Utah and Miami, they'll match up against one another tomorrow in the Midwest region. And you better believe that Rick Majerus knows that Wally Serbiak scored 43 of 59 points. He'll have something interesting ready for Miami of Ohio.
Haston turnaround jump shot, no good. No second chances either for the Indiana Hoosiers. They're down 57-34. Under 15 to go in the second half. St. John's seeded number 3. Indiana a number 6. Skip pass, Reggie Jesse wide open. And the rebound to Mike Lewis.
That's a good block out by that time by Fife.
In the front court, stop and pop for Luke Recker. And a one-hand rebound for Emmanuel.
And Haston had 27 points yesterday, Gus, but he's been limited to only 6 today by this St. John's defense. Indiana simply cannot get the ball inside against the zone.
Barkley down the lane again. He's short. Ball knocked out of bounds. Now tonight on CBS, meet 2 private eyes who have learned from the best. From the producers of Walker, Texas Ranger, it's the next generation of justice. An all-new Sons of Thunder with special guest appearance by Chuck Norris tonight on CBS.
That's Ron Artest coming back in the ball game. He had some stiffness in his thigh, left thigh. They tried to get that worked out with some stretching.
Down the lane, Fife, and he travels. Dane Fife's brother, Dugan, played at Michigan with the Fab Five. And he chose to come to IU instead of following his big brother. 57-34, 14:03 to go second half of play. St. John's with Barkley, Artest, Grant, Thornton, And Postell on the court. Artest travels as he dragged his pivot foot. And one interesting statistic for Indiana, 4 of the last 5 games, Dan, they've gone to the line at least 30 times. They're 2 of 2 today.
Gus, and when Indiana is having its best success, they're scoring an awful lot from the free throw line. They just can't get it inside against the zone, but there they do. And when you're attacking the basket like that, that is what's going to create foul situations. Indiana hasn't been in any foul situations in this game before that particular play. This is a good pass over the top. St. John's doesn't have their hands up out there. Not good pressure against the ball, and Gladness makes a tough catch. That ball barely got over the outstretched fingers of Tyrone Graham.
Gladness with 10 points. Indiana in the first round, 31 of 39 from the free throw line.
Now Lewis trying to keep the ball out of the hands of Barkley. And I think this is important for Indiana. They really have to pressure Barkley when he has the ball to try to disrupt that St. John's offense.
St. John's, they own the glass, up 30-16. Ball knocked away by Gladness. Gladness having a very nice game. Into the front court, Lewis trying to create, cut off, dumps it inside, and Haston gets the roll.
And that's what Haston does, Gus. Runs up the court, gets himself in pretty good position.
Young man from Lenton, Tennessee, and Mike Jarvis calls a timeout. Probably a wise decision. Looked like Indiana was starting to get a little momentum. 57-38, Red Storm. Near the conclusion of every NCAA tournament,
St. John's has this big lead. They can't afford to relax against Indiana. Indiana has made a science of coming back from deficits all year. In fact, they trailed Kansas State in November by 18 points in the second half and were able to come back and win that game. So St. John's cannot relax.
Down the lane, Thornton double clutched. And it's out of bounds, last touch by St. John's. Everybody talks about who can beat Duke. As if this is the Duke invitation.
And they have the ability to score points that obviously they gave Duke a run for Duke's money before, and this is one of the teams in the country that I think can defeat the Blue Devils. Right now, though, they got to worry about Indiana.
On the baseline, Fife, skip pass, 12 to shoot. Good defense by St. John's, really pressing shooters. 7 to shoot. Lewis down the lane, kicks out, and a record shot does not go. Haston rebound. He's fouled from behind, and an offensive rebound for IU.
And what Indiana was able to do that time, Gus, yeah, they ran the shot clock down, and they don't necessarily want to do that every time, but by moving the ball, they moved St. John's out of position. Gladness with the little push there against Grant. Grant not able to hang on to the ball, and Haston gets it.
And the free throw good. Indiana now with 5 offensive rebounds.
Haston obviously with that tremendous first game, 27 points, 9 of 11 field goals, but you see he was to the free throw line 10 times. This is his first trip today.
Missed the second. 12 minutes, 14 seconds to go. Second half of play, 57-39, Red Storm. Barkley around the screen, down the lane, knocked away by Gladness, and Haston holds on.
And now you don't want to commit a foul in that situation.
Stripped. No whistle.
Oh, Barkley was standing out of bounds because he tried to sneak back in, got up on his tippy toes, and the referee standing right there. Boy, this guy's got all the moves,
he's got it all.
But Gus, for St. John's, they've turned it over a couple of times in a row. You build up a big lead like this, and you get sloppy on offense, and that is how you lose the lead. And there's a foul against Postell.
Away from the basketball.
And Mike Jarvis, you can see him shaking his head. One of the things that drives coaches crazy is when their teams get way up, particularly in a game that you thought was going to be a really tough game. Then they tend to relax, and suddenly it becomes a tough game.
Fife missing off the screen.
Oh, what a great job to keep his pivot foot.
Artest playing with the tender left thigh muscle. Down the lane, nice wheel. Barkley, quick release, got it. They go in and out.
Gus, they've got all 5 of their starters in double figures now.
And Hastings, 60-41. But Indiana cannot afford to trade baskets with this team.
No, Gus, that's absolutely correct. You know, when you're down 19, you need some defensive stops, and then you need to be able to convert them. And St. John's has played so effectively on defense all day, you wonder if Indiana has the ability to come back this far.
Artest, double team, finds Thornton, extra pass. Postell slams it down.
Gus, is that pretty or what? I'm telling you, Thornton had practically a dunk, but had his teammate just a little closer to the basket. What a wonderful piece of unselfish passing. And he's really angry with his team. And this last play, you're trying to come back, and just great ball movement. The double team, you get it to Thornton in the middle, and he gives it up to Postell. My question is, how in the heck did he know Postell was behind him?
They feel each other. 62-41. St. John's. A.J. Guyton's been on the bench for a while now for Indiana. Lewis loses it, and Gladness tracks it down on the sideline. Recker in the corner. Lewis cut off.
That's great reaction on defense by St. John's.
Haston, and he's fouled.
Now, Gus, again, good ball movement by Indiana, moving the zone around. This is something that Indiana didn't really do very effectively in the first half. But as they move the ball around, Gus, they run a lot of time off the shot clock. We're at 10 minutes and 31 seconds left in the game now. Indiana's down 21, and Bob Knight still talking to Fife over there. He was really upset with Fife after that last St. John's dunk.
Haston, first free throw is good. And Indiana looking to take advantage of their size for St. John's across the front line. Artest is 6'7", Postell is 6'6", and Grant is 6'7". And Kirk Haston himself, 6'10".
Gus, but those couple of inches don't really mean very much when the guys are as powerful as St. John.
Barkley, bump, no looker. Postell tried to slam it down from Queens. Whoa, he got up high.
He did get up high. You were talking about Haston being 6'10", and in that particular situation, 6'10" means quite a bit. But they're coming to the middle, drawing the defense, and Postell gets up as high as he can go. The key to this whole thing is Barkley drawing 3 guys, and in transition, Gus, if you draw 3 guys, somebody's got to be open when a team runs the court as well as St. John's.
So Postell at the free throw line, 14 points on the afternoon, make it 15. Now don't forget, coming up next, UConn out west taking on New Mexico, and Creighton, Maryland right here in Orlando. 2 great college players, Rodney Buford for Creighton and Steve Francis for the University of Maryland.
Gus, in that New Mexico-Utah game, or UConn game, New Mexico really has to make sure that they handle the UConn pressure. There have been times this year when New Mexico has not done a good job against pressure, and they've got to do a great job today.
Guyton back into the game along with Jimenez, Gladness, Haston, and Recker. And Haston on the block and a foul inside. Big Ten, they sent 7 teams to the tournament. Michigan State, winner. Tomorrow they play Ole Miss, rather, Iowa today against Arkansas.
Couple of tough games there, Gus, for the Big Ten today. Iowa against Arkansas. Iowa not necessarily that quick. Arkansas likes to play the up and down game, and Detroit, such a solid defensive team, will be a really, really tough test for Ohio State.
Guyton almost lost the handle.
Well, they need Guyton's offense right at the moment, Gus. He's got to try to get himself in some open spots against this zone to use that three-point shooting ability.
Recker in the corner. And it's tipped up and in. Looked like Artest may have tipped it in himself.
Artest was battling against Haston, Gus, and I think Artest did get his hand on the ball, although Haston is the guy going to get credit for the basket, and their Recker with the push against Barkley, and that is an awfully tough matchup for Recker. You know, Artest has been doing such a great job for St. John's, and I guess he's trying to help out here. But no, that's Haston very clearly. Haston gets up over top, Gus. That's 6'10". You know, I said those extra 3 inches don't make much difference.
Well, they make a
well,
little
that
bit
was
of a
the difference right there. Shows you how much I know about this.
Oh, you know plenty. 64-45. St. John's, they've really taken the Indiana crowd out of this game. Grant dribbles out of the double team. Tyrone skip pass to Artest. Off the dribble, jump stop, off the window, rattles out.
Well, I thought that one was down. Guess in fact it was down and came all the way back out. Ron Artest passing up that three, showing you he can shoot the mid-range jumper as well. Just didn't get that one to go.
Wide open Fife, and he can't connect. And a rebound inside by Postell. He's fouled. The bracket here in the South region in Orlando. Indiana, St. John's, a 3 against a 6, followed by a 2 versus a 10, Maryland and Creighton. Creighton knocking off Louisville after being down by as many as 13 points in the second half of play. And Dana Altman slowed down the tempo, and they came back and won it.
Gus, I don't know that against Louisville, Dana Altman was trying to slow down the tempo. His team simply couldn't score, but they're going to be trying to slow down the tempo today against Maryland.
They forced 11 turnovers in the second half of play against Louisville. And now Haston has his 4th foul, along with 15 points and 9 rebounds.
Gus, he just very quietly does an effective job on the inside for Indiana.
Lewis leans in on the baseline. Offensive rebound for Fife. 15-footer, A.J. Guyton, and the ball just won't go down for the Hoosiers right now. But a foul inside, and that's against Haston. Against Tyrone Grant, and Haston gets the first free throw to go.
What you see happening now, Gus, is St. John's knows that Indiana has to score and score quickly, and St. John's being very, very conscious of trying to get out and defend those perimeter shots because the three-point basket is a potentially very potent comeback weapon. Now we got a lane violation. Washington in the lane a little too early. Now, if you're on the lane, Gus, you have to wait until the ball's released by the shooter before you can get into the lane. The shooter has to wait till the ball hits the backboard or the ring.
Chutney Gray bringing the ball up the floor for the Red Storm along with Artest. Gray guarded by Lewis.
Got to force some turnovers, Gus. Get some pressure on the ball and force some turnovers so you can get a little run going in the game. If Indiana's going to make a run, Gus, they've got to get started pretty quickly.
St. John's really patient on offense right now. Milking the clock. 11 to shoot. Artest in the low post. Double team, turns, block. Got it out to Gray, and Grant with the offensive rebound, and it stays down.
Gus, what a great job to use the basket to protect himself and extend his arm, sort of the back flip, and that is a back breaker. That offensive rebound.
And another rebound for Grant. 12 rebounds for the senior. Talking about three-pointers, St. John's really doing a good job from the three-point line. Add that one to it. They're 10 of 18.
Gus and Chutney Gray just spotting up over beyond that three-point line, and what a great job by Barkley.
69 to 46. Lewis spinning. Haston. And the rebound for Gray. Johnny's on the run. And Gray wisely pulls it out and runs some clock.
Absolutely, Gus. At this point in the game, Mike Jarvis is telling his team the clock is our friend. They do not need to get in any big hurry. They don't want to lose their offensive aggressiveness, but they certainly don't need to hurry.
Ball saved, but a backcourt violation over and back against Postell. 6:39 to go, all St. John. St. John's stroking the basketball 52%. Look at the points off turnovers, but the big story is the Hoosier guards. Luke Recker, A.J. Guyton, their 2 leading scorers. Guyton averages 17. Recker averages 16. They both have 9.
Gus, and the statistics don't lie. Indiana with 23 wins this year, 10 losses. In their 23 wins, between them, Guyton and Recker averaged 32 points a game. In their 10 losses, Guyton and Recker together averaged 21 points a game. So they are obviously on a pace for that 21 kind of point game. And Indiana is way down.
Indiana started the game shooting 6 of 7. Early on, they led by 6 points, but St. John's went on a 13-0 run to take the lead, and they have not looked back.
Gus, and the interesting thing about that run is Indiana scores easily on the inside is the fact that St. John's, a man-to-man team, went to the zone defense. Indiana made 6 of its first 7 shots. St. John's went to the zone, and actually the Red Storm has never looked back since that defensive adjustment.
Charles, and a traveling violation. And Mike Jarvis, what a good job he's done in the first 2 games in terms of preparing his team against Samford, a team that runs the same kind of offense that Princeton runs. He didn't give up many backdoor plays. He contested 3-point shots here. They packed it in the zone, and also their defenders are really closing in quickly on shooters.
Oh, what a great pass!
And Thornton, easy dunk.
Ron Artest just threw it ahead, confident that Thornton could get down the court and get that ball just over the outstretched hands of Lewis. Didn't try to throw it to Thornton, tried to let Thornton catch up with it.
Watch how fast St. John's recognizes shooters when the ball moves. Get on them quickly.
They've got great quickness, and that really helps you get to those shooters.
3-second violation. You get the feeling that there are 12 guys in white jerseys on the floor.
Absolutely, 12 guys with incredibly long arms. Artest just pulls that one down, and then what a nice job to lead Thornton perfectly. And it has been a long afternoon for Bob Knight and his Hoosiers. But Gus, you make a good point about Mike Jarvis. They had a week to prepare for Samford, and they prepared very well. And Danny, in this game, Mike Jarvis recognizes that Indiana's really killing them with their cuts to the basket and their man-to-man offense switches, and plays that zone defense.
Let's take a look at the other side of the South region in Indianapolis. Here's the bracket: Auburn, Oklahoma State, and Detroit and Ohio State. And what a job Kerry Watson has done with those Detroit Titans in terms of head coaching jobs all around the country, at Notre Dame, at Iowa. This man should definitely be considered for one of those jobs.
Well, I don't know whether he should be considered for those jobs, Gus, because I think the people at Detroit would be mad at you if you're trying to take him someplace else, because he's done a nice job. That Detroit team plays such good defense. In their game, in their first-round game, Gus, they had a 7-minute stretch in the first half and a 5.5-minute stretch in the second half where they didn't score a field goal, and yet their defense is good enough that they upset a team like UCLA.
Grant across the lane, jump hook, and it's in.
Gus, and if you pick one player on the St. John team that has really set the tone for them today, it's been Tyrone Grant and his battles inside.
Both ends of the floor. Inside, easy layup for Lynn Washington. Under 5 to play, 73-50. The Red Storm looking to move on into the Sweet 16. The high pick and roll. Barkley starts on the wing.
Yes, Indiana just has not been able to put sufficient pressure on St. John's.
Rebound inside, goes to Fife. Odo leans in, blocked from behind. Artest. Red Storm on the run.
Great job by Grant to create that opportunity.
Barkley down the lane. Thornton rebound. Stick back plus the foul. It's too easy for the New York City kids today.
Gus, they do such a great job. They can rebound the ball well on the offensive end when they're playing in the half court, but in the transition game, they just all run to the basket. Thornton steps out of the way to give Barkley a lane to the basket and then follows him and gets the offensive rebound. Sometimes the guy will step out of the way and step out of the lane and then watch the game, but this guy steps out of the way and then steps right back in following the ball.
So Bootsy Thornton At the free throw line, he has 16 points. Barkley has 12. Grant has 14. Postell has 16. Artest has 13. They are spreading it around. And Thornton adds the free throw. 3 and 59 to go, second half of play. St. John's up 76-50.
St. John's up big, and both these coaches have sons on their benches, Mike Jarvis II and Pat Knight. Mike Jarvis II told me yesterday that it's a very special situation being able to share the team's success with his dad. And Pat Knight told me it's very different from his days as a player because now he gets to share his opinion. Gus?
All right, as a matter of fact, Pat Knight and Mike Jarvis are very, very good friends. Pat says that Mike really helped him when he began coaching at Indiana, breaking him in on the road. Inside, Washington, good, and a rebound and foul.
Emmanuel's going to pick up the foul, and he looks disbelieving. That's a good look for him.
So, St. John's leading at 76-50. And at the free throw line, Jared Odell, a freshman from Converse, Indiana. And Jared led the state of Indiana in scoring last year, averaging 29. Now let's check out the CBS Sportsline stat of the game, and it's turnovers, points off turnovers rather. St. John's 24 points. Indiana's turned it over 16 times. The free throw is good.
Gus, and most of those turnovers by Indiana coming against the St. John's zone defense. Indiana just never reacted very well to that switch of defenses early in the game by St. John's.
Antoine Randall L. on the floor for Indiana. He wears number 10. He's the starting quarterback on the football team.
That's a young man that played just about every down for Indiana playing quarterback. Gus, football, never got hurt, and then has broken his hand twice playing basketball.
Inside and up and in for the Red Storms, Albert Richardson. His first two of the game.
There's those quick hands by St. John's again, and Artest, big grin on his face as he goes after that one.
Now tonight
I think what you've been doing here, Gus, is you're trying to get a guest appearance on martial law.
No.
Well, I think if you get the guest appearance, Gus, that you should be a good guy. Don't let them make you a bad guy.
No, I want to be a bad guy. Richardson inside off the glass and in.
Gus, I'll tell you what, there have been no bad guys out here for St. John's today. And again, it seems that today, whoever has come off the bench has done a great job for Mike Jarvis. Jesse that time finding Richardson on the inside. And sometimes if you're a coach, you sit over there and you have the computer console in front of you and you push the buttons and everything works. But Mike Jarvis has been the other place where you push buttons and you think somebody has disconnected your power because nothing works properly. That's the way Bob Knight is feeling right at this moment.
Fife in the corner. And he's too strong. Washington inside. Randall L. Freshman from Riverdale, Illinois. 82-52. Johns will move on to Knoxville in the next round. Maryland Creighton coming up next here in Orlando. Inside.
Oh, wow.
What a circus shot by Jesse.
Gus, I tell you what, St. John's probably would like to save some of this for the next round. They're definitely headed for the Sweet 16 in Knoxville, and they would like to save some of this magic that they have generated today.
Colin Charles back into the game, and Barkley takes his seat.
Barkley, Gus, we talked about him stepping up and playing big in big games, and he has had a very fine game today. Mike Jarvis with the hug over there.
Barkley leads with 12 points. He also had 6 assists. Chutney Gray up to Charles, who lays it up and in. The horn inadvertently went off.
Well, Bob, Gus, they've been having problems with that horn today. Bob Knight would have liked that horn to stop it. If that could have stopped St. John's, that would be the only thing today.
And a whistle and foul inside. Foul on Richardson. 2 shots for Odom. Bob Knight, though, he's still up on the bench. He's still coaching. He's thinking about next year.
You have a lot of young people out there, Gus, and when you have a lot of young people out there, you've got to coach in all kinds of situations, and a guy as successful as Bob Knight is just not going to sit there and not take advantage of the opportunity.
Indiana, good job during the season recruiting. They have a great recruiting class coming in to Bloomington next season. A couple of 6'9s. 1:38 to go, second half, 84-55. St. John's allowed Indiana to shoot 6 of 7 early on to lead by 6, but they went on a 13-0 run after Coach Jarvis implemented that zone press. They have not looked back since then. 86-55. And Odom got it back and makes it home.
Just what an impressive effort by St. John's. Just really a great effort by St. John's. It's one of those times when a coach is going to have a hard time finding things to criticize.
I'm sure Mike Jarvis will find something.
Absolutely, Coach. That's like on page 3 of the coach's manual, how to find those things despite how well your team plays.
Ball tipped in by the Hoosiers. With 41 seconds to go here in the second half. St. John seeded number 3. No problems with Indiana today. Saeed lost the dribble and out of bounds. And our Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, Haston from Indiana, and Tyrone Grant, the old guy as they call him, old school. Big game for him, a double-double. 11 to go, Jimenez with the jump shot, Odom with the rebound, inside, sticks it back home, and that'll do it. The St. John's Red Storm. Gray. They have defeated the Indiana Hoosiers 86-61 and are headed into the Sweet 16. The bracket here in the South region in Orlando. St. John's, they advance and play the winner of Creighton, Maryland. That game coming up next. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel, who's standing by in New York. But first, a quick commercial. I don't know.
You know, naturally you would expect that if our motion offense is working well and they can't stop it, they probably will go to zone next year. So, but that remains to be seen.
Further questions? Front row here, right.
Okay, AJ, what could you guys have done differently today as far as attacking the zone and previously? I mean, what's the reason for you guys' struggles against it?
Probably getting into the seams of the zone and getting in there where they have to. It's a 2-on-1 situation that the bottom guy in the zone has to play 2 people, and we didn't get that enough today.
Further questions, please. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. Comments?
We had we played as we would I think like to have played maybe for the first 7 or 8 minutes, and maybe I'm not sure what the score was. I think maybe we're down 22-20, and we're staying in the game. We're doing what we want to do, and then they just kind of got away from us, and they got away from us because we made some defensive mistakes. We didn't. Their zone defense was a lot better than our zone offense was, and that combination of things, I think, just got us in a bind that we couldn't get out of. Now, all that, as it may be, they're just a lot better team than we are. I mean, that's a better basketball team than we've got. I mean, if we played them 5 more times, I'm not sure we could beat them, and particularly with them playing. Artest is as good a kid as I've ever watched at keeping everybody involved and talking to kids, and I mean, the guy really is impressive, and what he does, I think they have a lot of kids that do. They talk, they're competitive, they remind each other of things, and they were, I think, of the teams I've seen play against us this year, this was the most impressive team that I've seen. I mean, all the way across the board.
Thank you, Coach. Questions, please, for Coach Knight at this time. Gentleman up front here in the right, third row.
Coach, as difficult as it might have been being down 15 at the half, at the outset of the second half, I know that's a period of time you'd like to get back into the basketball game, and yet they go on a 12-4 run prior to the first timeout. Could you comment on that period of time?
Well, it would probably be best explained by they played a lot better than we did during that time. I mean, you want to do things and you want to get started out well, but the other guy does too, and sometimes the other guy just plays better than you do. We had some opportunities in there that, in fact, I commented later in the game about that particular stretch. We went from 15 down to 21 down. And we missed some shots inside. We made a couple of bad plays defensively. If we make the plays that were available to us, we might have had a 10 or a 9-point deficit instead of a 20, but we didn't, and they made the plays. They outplayed us to the tune of 12-4 during that stretch.
Further questions, please. Gentleman on the left, in the middle.
Coach, you made your first three-pointers against the man, then you went 1 for 15 against the zone. What is it about the zone that gives this team so much trouble?
Well, I think the zone is probably a couple things have to happen that help you in zone offense. One is getting the ball out and getting it down quickly. We didn't do a particularly good job of that. We didn't get the ball. We don't play against the zone well on top. We don't get the ball where it should go on top, and that's something that we really have got to change and improve.
Further questions, please. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Knight, Coach Jarvis is with this group for this first year, and I was wondering, as a coach, in working with a player in his first year, what's the biggest challenge as far as working with him?
Well, I think there isn't any particular challenge. The challenge is always to get kids to do what they have to do to win, and he's done a great job with that. He's really gotten these kids attuned to playing to win, working to win, playing unselfishly, but playing hard and doing things that, if I were to say one thing about them, I think that they concentrate on winning as well as a team can.
Thank you. Further questions, please. Okay. In the back on the right.
Coach, can you talk about the team's intensity compared to against George Washington the other night?
Well, I don't think that our team's intensity was any different. I think the result was different.
We have a question here, I believe, on the left in the middle.
Coach, your antagonists like to bring up that you haven't gotten out of the sub-regional in a while. Has that getting to be a burr and personally for you?
A lot of people haven't ever been in the sub-regional.
Question here on the right in the middle.
When my antagonists agree with me, then I'll think I'm in trouble.
Coach, does the score really matter in a game like this, or does it hurt more that it was your worst loss in postseason history, I believe?
Well, if the score really matters, then we leave Guyton and Wrecker into the bitter end and try to score some points. Play matters to me. Play and how you play and what you're able to do from the standpoint of what you're trying to do. It makes a lot more difference to me than the score or even the outcome of the game.
Further questions? Gentlemen, all the way in back on the right.
Coach Knight, how do you feel about the way your team played looking back on the whole season from October up until now? Do you walk away feeling that they played well? Or?
Well, I think that we had a lot of moments where we played well. I think there were a lot of games that this game gets away from us today completely where we have absolutely no chance to win it. But then this team was able to come back and it won 5 overtime games. It came back from some other major deficits to win games. We let a couple games slide away from us as well. But I think all in all,
always in every single possible